KFI AM 640. It's later with Mo Kelly. It's Friday the 13th. I don't know how superstitious you are, but you better watch out tonight. And speaking of tonight, we're going to be playing Name That Movie Cult Classic, the horror movie edition. I know. Mark Ronner had already done a horror edition of Name That Movie Cult Classic. But since it's Friday the 13th, I will try not to step on his toes and not repeat any of the movies that he used. But what better time to have horror movies as our subject, except for maybe Halloween.
You can never go wrong.
Well, we're not going to go wrong tonight, so we're definitely going to do that. And since I mentioned you, Mark, first, good evening as always. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, Mo. We're in the home stretch.
Yes, we are, and I need your help for something. Here's why.
Oh, thank you.
If I didn't read this incorrectly, it says that the chance of rain has returned to the forecast. According to the National Weather Service, a low-pressure system moving into Southern California will cause temperatures to drop 10 to 15 degrees below average over the weekend into next week. But inland valleys in metro Los Angeles have a 40% chance of rain on Monday. Areas that could see showers or chances of rain include Orange County and the San Fernando and San Gabriel valleys. We go from from famine to feast, all in the course of a week.
Where are you getting this? Because I'm on the National Weather Service site right now, and I'm not seeing that.
Well, this is according to KTLA.
Okay, then.
That's all I'm saying.
It's an inexact science, apparently.
Yeah. Look, I like to think of KTLA as credible, but that's what KTLA says.
Well, weather's not like, engineering or something. No. You can be a little bit off and still be okay.
Yeah. But I would welcome the rain. I really would welcome the rain.
I like rain. People always complained about that when I lived in Seattle. I don't understand it. It's weather. I like seasons as well. I don't mind rain.
Well, here's the problem. I welcome the rain. I just don't want it to rain when I'm driving. If it can rain while I'm at work, if it can rain when I'm at home, great. But to deal with LA drivers in the rain is a completely different animal.
Yeah, I found that too. Do you find that you encounter more, let's call them birds in the rain on the road?
Look, not only that, I actually, if it's really raining hard, I will just go ahead and take surface streets because the idiots do not know how to drive in inclement weather. And I don't want to be a statistic or just wrong place, wrong time because of someone else's lunacy. I'd rather drive in at 35, 40 miles an hour going north-south on Western Avenue than trying to deal with the people who are doing 85 in puddle water, the 5 freeway.
That's probably the right thing to do because I think people actually interpret rain here as a signal that they should drive faster.
Yeah.
And cut you off with less room.
Right. You don't know what it means to hydroplane or how that puts everyone else in danger when your dumbass hydroplanes and you lose complete control of your car.
Well, we might have to ban those Fast and Furious movies. I think everybody wants to drift now.
I think that's part of it. I see more reckless driving than ever before. When I say ever before, in the past 5-6 years, really, really reckless, really dangerous, not for any particular reason. And this is what I think reckless drivers don't understand or don't remember. You may be, or at least in your mind, the best driver in the world. But if someone cannot react to you in time, or if you think that everyone sees you speeding down the highway at 100 miles an hour, no, we don't. I promise you, we don't.
No, and I say a heartfelt goodbye when I leave for work every day because the commute here, it could be your last one.
Right. No, it really could. And as much as I talk about I don't like flying and the stats concerning driving being much more dangerous, I am aware of that. I just feel a little bit more in control. Like when it does start raining, hey, I don't have to put myself in the most dangerous situation when it rains. If I have extra time, I will take extra time and I'll just take the slower route in.
Not only that, but did you see the study from a few days ago showing that SUVs, which I've been looking at these because I've been looking for a car for myself forever now, and I've been zeroing in on some, absolute tanks. SUVs may protect you, but they're 7 times more likely to cause the death of the other person you're in the wreck with?
Well, you put it this way. If I'm going to be in a wreck, I'm choosing me. It's nothing personal. Yeah, and I don't drive an SUV, or at least as of yet, but I'm looking at some like you. Mark Ronner. But yeah, I've always worried about an SUV and a rollover. That's always been my concern. The higher center of gravity.
Yeah, that bothers me as well because as a reporter in my early days, I had to cover tons of traffic fatalities, car train accidents, all of it. And so, it's like when you read about medical stuff, you start to think everything you read about you might have. Those are at the forefront of your mind the second you get on the highway.
Well, see, that's the thing. When you work in news, you're not really inoculated against anything. You hear everything. You see all the studies. You see all the bad stuff. You get all of that stuff mainlined into you. And I think it shapes the way you look at just your personal decisions.
It'll cause you to have your fight or flight system on a little bit more than average.
Now, before we go to break, I unfortunately have to give Tuwala Sharp credit.
What?
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be real difficult. Let me compose myself. Yesterday on the show, we were talking about earthquakes, obviously, because we had an earthquake. And Tuwala was saying we've had more 4+ earthquakes on the Richter scale than ever before. I'm paraphrasing it, but it was something to that effect. And I disagreed with him. I just think we're just more aware of it, and so we're just talking about it more. Come to find out, Southern California has broken the record for the most Mag 4 and above earthquakes in a single year. So, I hate admitting him when he's right.
You might as well just get it over with.
That's what I did it at the end of the segment, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it.
It's okay.
Say what you got to say.
Okay.
So we can, okay, KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Not a Mark Ronner with the KFI. I'm kidding. Go ahead, Tuwala. Go ahead, have your moment in the sun.
Enjoy it, Tuwala.
Yeah.
I can't, as fleeting as it is, it's all good. You reading that story that I submitted for your attention.
Yes, you did.
I'm glad that it didn't end up on the cutting room floor. I thought it was. I'm looking at the clock like, that's why I walked in here like, you're forgetting something. Where are you at on the run? Because this story was in the top.
Yeah, the previous record was 13, and this year we've had 14 so far.
Yeah.
The average being about 8. So, yes, we've had more earthquakes, 4.0 and higher in California this year than ever before, as Tuwala Sharp had indicated yesterday, and I disagreed with him.
See how things work.
Are you sure there's nothing you want to add to that?
No, I have nothing to say about you, Mark. I'm right about everything I say with you.
Oh, no, I mean more about Tuwala. I mean, if you're going to go to the doctor and get that one exam, the exam where you got to bend over, you might as well be thorough about it. Just get it all done.
All the plumbing while you're there.
Swoop.
No, I'm good. Thank you, Doctor. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And I gotta wonder what people think being rich is. Is it a number? Is it a lifestyle? Is it about being debt free? Is it some combination of all that? But most people find it with a number. If you make X amount of dollars, you're supposedly rich. I don't know about that, because we all know it's very expensive to live here in California. And you may say, well, I make $100,000 a year. Yeah, that doesn't make you rich in California. Maybe in Alabama, but not necessarily in California. But I was looking at this article by Smart Asset, and it says that the rich millennials are moving to various states, and they're leaving certain states. I'll tell you which ones in just a moment. But it defines, obviously we know millennials, these are people 26 to 45, but it defines households with people who are aged 26 to 45 that bring in more than $200,000 per year as high earners. High earners. So you could have two people or just one person making $200,000 or two people making $100,000, and they would be considered high earners. Now, I'm not going to talk bad about anyone, but I do know that just because you crossed a $200,000 house threshold for a household, kids may be involved. That doesn't take you as far as most people would think if you don't actually live in California and know what it's like to live out here. But a lot of high-earning millennials seemingly are leaving the state. So here's a quick list from Smart Asset, the states which lost the most high-earning millennial households. And I'm quite sure that Mississippi is not on this list. Just saying. Number 10. The Show Me State, Missouri. So these are people or households which make at least $200,000. And of course, $200,000 doesn't mean the same in every state. Number 9. Michigan. Number 8. And my computer just stopped working, just like that. All right, number 8. Here you go, Mark Ronner.
I'm ready.
The state of Washington. Millennials are just exiting the state.
I did. Oh, wait, I'm not a millennial. Never mind.
Do you make $200,000?
You know where I work. Are you insane?
Look, that's for you to say. That's not for me to say. Number 7. Louisiana, which is kind of surprising to me. If you make more than $200,000 and you're in Louisiana, it seems like that would be a pretty decent place to be with that money. Unless you know, you're working remotely and you want to go just live somewhere else.
Unless your home has been submerged, yeah.
Well, yeah. But that's been a while since we had. What is that hurricane which is getting ready to hit land down there?
I don't have it handy.
Yeah, there's a hurricane that's supposed to hit, I think, the New Orleans area this weekend. But it's hard to believe that Hurricane Katrina was 19 years ago.
Oh, my God.
19 years.
Is it really?
Yeah, 2005.
Are you talking about Hurricane Francine?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, people are without power there right now because of it.
There we go.
I wouldn't have said more than 10 at the most. I can't believe 19.
Right.
That does not feel like 19 years
And
ago.
it just makes us feel like, golly, life is just running by us, and it gets even faster as we get older. But that's Louisiana at number 7. Number 6. Minnesota. Interesting. Number 5. Pennsylvania. And where are you going from Pennsylvania? You're not moving to California, that's for sure. Number 4, according to Smart Asset, the top 10 states which have lost the most high-earning millennial households, as in households which make more than $200,000. Massachusetts, another state with a high cost of living.
I believe that.
Yeah, I do. And you could leave Massachusetts and go maybe to New York or something. Or you could go to Vermont. You can go to a state in the area, or move to Maine or something, and your money would go further. Number 3. Illinois. And I can believe that too. Yeah. Let's say you live in Chicago, you make a lot of money. Maybe go to Indiana.
You don't want to do that, trust me. You really don't want to do that.
Well, I'm not saying that I would.
What one would?
Yes, one would.
Yes, one.
Number 2. New York. Yeah, but $200,000 in New York won't get you a small apartment in Manhattan.
I'll get you a broom closet.
Yeah. So that makes perfect sense.
Literally.
Yeah, literal broom closet. And coming in at number 1, the state which lost the most high-earning millennial households which make at least $200,000. California. We're losing all these high-earning, quote-unquote, millennials. Households with at least $200,000 incomes reported to the IRS. Millennials 26 to 45 in age. Households now, so,
That kind of makes sense because all you hear is people moving to Texas. And then there's a story a while back that said, now Texas is getting too much because everyone's coming from California.
Well, I think it's a combination of things, and I'm just spitballing here. If you are in the millennial range, they have the most hybrid jobs available to them. And I'm hearing just from my millennial friends, they have sometimes 2, if not more, full-time jobs, but since they can do it remotely, they can live anywhere. And if you can live anywhere, then why not live where there's a lower cost of living? Why not move to some other state and still get the same amount of money that you're making? If you don't have to live in California, I guess it's up to you. I like living in California a lot.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't go. It's not crowded enough here.
Oh, look,
Stay.
You know how I always talk about it. Look, if you could make my commute to the office a little bit better by your ass leaving the state, I am all for it. I will come by and drop off an apple pie as a going away present. Please leave.
We only have 39 million people here. Please stay.
Right. And that's the time of, oh my gosh, everybody's leaving California. I said, good. Because I remember when California only had 25 million.
What?
I remember when California only had 20 million as a kid. All right. It is okay. California will survive on fewer people, but people want to use it as a political talking point. No, I'm okay with people leaving. I really am, because I'm selfish like that. California is not going to live or die because people leave. Not going to happen.
I think we've got the slack to work with here.
Yeah. Yep. Now, you can make the argument that their dollars are leaving with them and it doesn't pay into the state taxes. And I get all that, but I don't care.
Yeah, and it definitely is not really making a big impact, because 90%, I would say, of the people that I picked up were not from here originally, especially during the holidays, taking them to the airport.
Yeah,
I'm from New York. I'm from Texas. I'm from Chicago. I'm from Washington. Half of them weren't from here.
People move. People leave. And I don't grade my quality of life by overcrowding. In other words, that doesn't improve my quality of life. And California is very crowded. I mean, just try to drive anywhere on any given day. Why in the world would I care who is leaving or why they're leaving or how much money they have? I want to be able to drive to work in under an hour and a half, because I don't have one of those hybrid jobs. I don't get to work remotely for most of the stuff that I do. So it's real important that I don't have to feel like I'm Mark Ronner and liable to flip someone off because there's so many cars on the road, especially if it starts raining and they're driving in such a dangerous way where I may end up dead for reasons having nothing to do with me.
Only when provoked, only when completely justified.
But do you think that person in the other car agrees with you or cares?
People who are wrong rarely agree that they're wrong. And it's incumbent upon you to explain to them that they're wrong, sometime with an extended finger.
But do they really understand that they're wrong, or you just think very little of them?
Well, maybe it'll sink in later. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. We can all learn.
That is very big of you.
It is, isn't it?
When we come back, we're going to talk about Friday the 13th, as today is Friday the 13th, give you some history about why it's considered unlucky and where are some of these superstitions coming from. That's next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Today is Friday the 13th. I don't consider myself to be overly superstitious, but some people are. I don't necessarily worry about stepping on a crack, breaking my mother's back. I'm not that person who's going to worry about splitting the pole if walking down the street with my wife.
You got to say bread and butter when you do that.
You do?
Yeah, that's what my grandmother taught me.
Yeah. I never was weighed down by those types of superstitions. And I don't know why that is. It's just something I never put a lot of stock in. I never worried about, if I'm the person who's going to say in front of the mirror, Candyman, 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 Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I'm not going to worry about any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, you're just asking for it.
I am. It's not anything I'm going to think about. It's not anything I'm going to worry about. But some people, maybe you listening right now, are just paralyzed by certain superstitions. Friday the 13th being one of them. And it got me thinking about, well, where does it come from? Where does Friday the 13th being bad luck come from? And I didn't know this, and I say this as someone who's a Christian, and its origins of Friday the 13th being bad luck trace back to Jesus and the Last Supper, where Judas, who was thought to be the 13th person at the Last Supper, was the one who betrayed Jesus. So therefore, 13 is bad luck. And the Last Supper, as the Bible tells it, was on a Thursday, and Jesus was crucified on a Friday. So the crucifixion of Jesus on Friday and the number 13, when put together, are just doubly bad luck. From my research, that's where it comes from. And it's weird to me because you see it in all portions of society. Have you ever been in a building and noticed there wasn't a 13th floor? Hello? That's a part of the superstition, which has become a part of our everyday culture. I've been in a lot of buildings and they'll say 12A or just go 12, 14, or it'll be 14A or something. They'll dance around it. There'll be a floor which is, quote unquote, the 13th floor.
You're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling Satan with that.
And it's funny that you said that because my mom made the point, which is true. Yeah, you don't have a level 13, but 14, you're on the 13th floor. So it doesn't really make a difference.
It's like, are you afraid of the number, triskaidekaphobia, the number itself, or is it about anything which coincides with 13? Because you make a great point, Stefan. There's still a 13th floor, whether you call it that or not. Because if we're counting up, damn it, it's still the 13th floor, regardless of what you put on the elevator.
Would you live or work on a 13th floor, Mr.?
Absolutely. Wouldn't give it a second thought.
Really?
Do not care. Does not matter to me.
Interesting.
It just doesn't. And I know it does to other people. I've worked on the 15th floor when I was working at Premier Radio, and that was at the very top. And the only reason I remember that was because it was the 15th floor, and when the elevator was out, it was the 15th floor.
All right, would you operate a Ouija board on a 13th floor?
No, you know what? It's one I've never even figured out how a Ouija board works. The only thing that I would say as far as superstition goes, and I admit this is ironic given what tonight is going to be as far as name that movie cult classic. I really don't watch a lot of modern day horror movies. I think it puts my spirit in a bad place. And Mark, you and I were talking about sleep earlier.
Yeah.
And when I watch certain movies at night, it will disturb my sleep, and my sleep is very important to me. And that's part of the reason why I don't watch a lot of modern day horror movies. Now, I'd watch the movies of the 80s. Because it's a different type of horror. Those were more slasher than anything. It wasn't the supernatural horror, the stuff that's going on, what they do today. No, I don't do those. That's about it.
I think the slasher stuff can be more severe. I find current horror films to be weirdly kind of puritanical. You saw a lot of gross stuff back then. You know why? Because for me, the 80s slasher movies were so over the top ridiculous. The stupidity of the victims, never have sex, especially not in a campground ever. Never. And don't be young and attractive either. No, don't go anywhere or do anything. Or you're asking for it. And maybe it was the ridiculous nature of the plot. You had the superhumans, almost supernatural killers, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. So it didn't seem as anything that was real. And I put that like real small case. But when you get into the supernatural good and evil, that's the stuff that tends to bother me more. And yet you like The Exorcist. I liked it, but I wouldn't watch like a modern day version of it. Well, those all suck, but the original one and the third one are outstanding. Yeah, and you know what? And I don't have any real desire to watch the original either. The closest I get to The Exorcist is I will go to the Exorcist steps at Georgetown. Yeah, I'll always be jealous of that, but at least I can always count on you when I start the chant to chime in with "The power of Christ compels you." See, right there. I can't even say what it is because it's all profanity. I've got a message from your mother, Karis. Right. Come here, Father.
F me.
All right. Look at the time.
No, but I'm saying I've seen the movie, but those movies don't have the same appeal to me now. But I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, I have any real superstitions.
But a lot of people who aren't superstitious still kind of hedge their bets, you know? They won't do something just on the off chance.
Yeah, no. I get that. But I can't think of one for me.
Walking under a ladder.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch of times.
Need to get you a Thrill Seeker t-shirt.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, but I'm not the person who's going to jump out of an airplane with a parachute.
Oh, I do that.
See? And that for me is not superstition because that is real to me. That's real danger. That's not perceived danger. That's real danger.
Okay, jump out of a plane with a Ouija board. I'm putting that on my bucket list.
Yeah, I'll pass. This later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Happy Friday the 13th.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And just want to remind you, sometimes I get messages from you, and I appreciate all of them. You can hit me at Later with Mo Kelly on Instagram, or you can send me a message there. That's easier there. And you can hit me on Facebook at Mr. Mo Kelly. And people often, and I'm actually flattered and appreciative, they ask, hey, Mo, tell us more about your martial arts that you do. Well, it's a Korean art called Hapkido, and I've been studying at Song's Hapkido in Culver City for 30 years now. I'm 30 years in a month. I started there in August of 1994, and that was after taking 2.5 years with Master Taeman Kwan in Torrance when I was in high school. And the place I've been at now, Song's Hapkido, I've been there ever since, and it's the best decision I've ever made with my life. And people ask me in these messages, hey, is it too late? I'm 55 years old, or I just had a knee surgery last year. Can I do it? Absolutely. You're never too old, because Hapkido is one of the few martial arts which is so well balanced. It takes into account the natural aging process. It takes into account that you may be a woman and someone is physically bigger and stronger than you. It's for everyone in all sizes. It's about learning about leverage and using your body, using opponent's energy against him or her. There's a lot of science to it, and there's a lot of philosophy to it as well. I encourage you to come out. I teach all the classes on Saturdays. So if you want to come by and say hello and see what a class is like, I may not be able to have time to talk a lot, obviously, because I'm teaching the classes, but you can come by 4354 Sepulveda Boulevard in Culver City. I'll be there from 9 a.m. to noon tomorrow, teaching 2 kids classes and an adult class. So come on out and see for yourself. It's a fully balanced martial art. We do takedowns, throws, kicking, punching, purely self-defense, purely offense, weapons, all that kind of stuff. It is great fun, and it is also one of the few things that you can do for yourself and you can take it with you. What I mean by that is you can go to the gym, you can lift weights, you can go get on a treadmill, but you can't really take that with you and apply it to other portions of your life. Where with Hapkido, it helps with your just emotional health. It helps so you don't flip off people on the freeway like Mark Bronner and get shot. It helps just like taking shots at you.
I noticed that. Yeah, you like to wait until you can see that I'm absorbed in something.
Right. Just make sure you're still paying attention.
Then it's like a police radio. Blah 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 blah. Mark giving the finger. Wait, what?
No, I just received squirrel. I just received a message from someone on Threads at Mr. Mo Kelly saying that I should remind you that you shouldn't flip off people.
Really?
Because you might get shot doing so.
Well, I would prefer not to get shot. That's for certain.
Okay. Well, they're just saying that don't flip off anyone. You don't have to worry about it.
You're blaming the victim, though. I'm the victim. Initially, I'm the victim of the rudeness. I'm signaling that I am not okay with the rudeness with that one finger. Why would a person compound the rudeness by doing something dangerous and obnoxious in the car and then shooting me in the face on top of it.
Well, that would make you literally the victim then. Yes, a victim of a gunshot wound.
That's just downright impolite, I got to say.
Look, I'm just passing it along.
Thank
You can
you.
do with it what you will.
Okay. Done.
Just to let you know, so I'll be teaching classes tomorrow, and we're having a belt test on the 28th, so you can come in and watch the different students test for the various belts so you can see it for yourself. It's not like I'm just trying to hawk my dojang. I'm just answering your questions, people who want to know. It's like I don't talk about it all the time because it's not a subject for me to talk about all the time. But I'm just answering your many messages, and I appreciate the interest. So it's Songs Hapkido, 4354 Sepulveda Boulevard in Culver City. I'll be teaching tomorrow from 9 to noon, and maybe we'll even get Mark Runner out there at one point.
Do any of the belt tests involve walking across rice paper without leaving any footprints?
No.
Well, then count me out.
Is that like a Kwai-Jong Kang thing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I thought.
Yeah. You apparently think you're too good to do what the Shaolin monks do.
Well, let's just say Kung Fu is Chinese and Hapkido is Korean. We'll just say that.
I respect all cultural differences or something.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anything else to mock me?
I wouldn't dream of it. I think you know me better than that. I would never mock a man of your stature.
Yeah. Oh, you said it earlier. What is going to be the subject of your Rana report tonight?
Today we're going to talk about Speak No Evil. It's a brand new thriller with James McAvoy, who you might recognize from X-Men and the M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Like Split?
It's a movie that you're never going to see because you don't like thrillers and horror films.
Well, no. Thrillers and horror movies. For example, I saw the Split and Glass, and I will watch thriller/horror. I'm not going to watch the straight up horror movies. There has to be another angle to it.
Well, then maybe you'll like this.
Okay, all right.
And maybe you'll think twice about meeting people on the next trip you take with your significant other.
Well, I don't want you to give it all away now. That's
Never. No.
That's coming up at 8:30. So, KFI AM 640, we are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Free-range, non-genetically modified, handcrafted, artisanal, gluten-free, stimulating talk. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live every